Hello everybody, this is Stephen Howson and this is my review of Manchester United win against Southampton at St Mary's. 1-0 was the score and it was a tight last 10 minutes, wasn't it? We was really holding on. Jose Mourinho playing his cards by throwing defenders on to try and shore up at the back and protect that win. Now, we started off really well, and I think on the balance of things, a victory is probably right for Manchester United. I thought we controlled the game excellently in the first half. We was hitting them on the break, and to me, it looked like we was going to really go and push on, and we was going to go score multiple goals. It could have been 2, could have been 3, and maybe if we'd have just pushed on that little bit further, it might have even have been 4, but that wasn't to be. We scored 1. We didn't really take many more chances in the first half. We was getting into the places to be able to cause some damage, but not really able to produce that final ball, not really be able to produce that final pass, not really be able to get that shot off that was going to really rattle the goalkeeper and put Southampton under loads of pressure. We just controlled and dominated the game from a bit far back. We did take our chances, or we did create chances using their high line and getting in behind them, and that was good to see. But as soon as the second half started, and I'm yet to watch it, so this isn't my analysis video. My analysis video is going to come tomorrow when I have a real drill down into it. This is just my immediate reaction to it and my look forward to next week a little bit. So what I thought is Manchester United didn't react very well to whatever it was that Southampton did, and I still not figured out exactly what it is Southampton have done. That's why my analysis video is going to come tomorrow, where I will explain what it was that Southampton changed from the second half, from the first half, because they came out and they was different. They held the ball different, they dominated, and they exploited and pushed Manchester United back. And they pushed us back so far that by the end of the game, Manchester United was almost camped in our area, backs against the wall, having chance after chance flung at us. There was set pieces, there was corners, there was free kicks, there was all sorts of stuff putting Manchester United under pressure. But we held firm, we kept it a clean sheet, and we held on to the points. 3 points on the road. Now, it's not as impressive as Manchester City putting 5 past Crystal Palace. Absolutely not. Of course it's not. But it's still 3 points. These are games, these are literally games that we drawn last season where we played well and didn't manage to get the win. So playing, I'm not going to say poorly, because I don't think we played poorly. We played excellent in the first half, and then Southampton had their period in the sunshine in the second half, which sort of lasted the whole of the second half. We didn't really play poorly. We was just sort of outplayed, outworked, or outthunked tactically. There wasn't really poor play from players. There was quite ordinary play from players, but it wasn't really poor. Southampton, is a well-drilled unit, and they're a team that manages to stay relatively successful despite the constant changes that they have with managers. Lukaku moves on to 8 in 8, which is absolutely fantastic. I knew he was going to be good for Manchester United, but I think he's even exceeded the expectations that I put on him. What you saw from last season's Lukaku is that he was scoring a higher percentage of shots by magnitudes than what Zlatan was scoring. And sort of, in my head, I was like, well, if he gets the same level of chances that he got last season for United this season, which he will, and 2, he might even get more because of the things that he adds to the Manchester United gameplay, then by rights he should have scored more goals. That's what he's looking like doing at the moment. 1 for 1. Now, we've got Crystal Palace coming up. We could theoretically see Lukaku move to more than 1 goal per game. It might only be like 1.05 per game or whatever it is. But we might see Lukaku go more goals than games over the next few days, over the next few games. Which would be insane. Which would be genuinely insane. Can you imagine he finishes the season with more goals than games? I think if he does, Manchester United are bringing number 21. I really do. I really do. Credit to Mourinho for making the right substitutions at the right time. It's a nervy thing to do, and sometimes you think, do you know what, just throw an attacker on, give ourselves an outlet, give us someone that we can pump the ball up to and get the pressure off when we need it. I thought Herrera at the right time. I thought the other substitutions was the correct substitutions. But sometimes the players themselves, even if it's not the instructions, I think the players themselves know that they're trying to protect a lead, and they're not being as expansive. They're not being as creatively free, and they sink back and they drop deeper and they drop deeper, and sometimes that invites pressure on. That's where you need real leaders on the pitch to be saying, Get out, move out, push out, hold your shape, do the right thing. Maybe we've not quite got that in this side yet. Maybe that's where we miss Paul Pogba, be it someone who can hit a pass 40, 50 yards to someone to get the pressure off. Maybe that is where we're going to really start to notice the lack of having Paul Pogba in the team. Maybe that link up between him and Lukaku is a good outlet for us when we are under pressure. But we withstood the test. This bodes us in good stead for when we've got more of our team back. It was a pretty strong team today, but we all know that this wasn't the strongest possible side that Manchester United could put out. If we look ahead to midweek, we go to Moscow. We didn't see much of Herrera the last few weeks. We haven't seen much of Anthony Martial the last few weeks, only off the bench. I think Anthony Martial is probably going to be starting in Moscow, and I wouldn't put it past him to absolutely terrorise them. The form that our forwards are in at the moment, I think Mkhitaryan looks sloppy at times. I don't think he looks bad. I think he just looks a little bit sloppy. His decision making isn't quite perfect, but he does make things happen. And I think he is one of the reasons why everybody else is looking well. Maybe he doesn't come off as quite the superstar pulling the strings in this, but he's having a massive hand to say in all of this. I'm looking forward to Champions League football being back next week and then pushing on and trying to get some more points. We've got an international break coming up in a couple of weeks. If we get through October, I think we can even lose and still be in great shape by the end of October. I really think we can. So Alex Ferguson used to say, you don't have to be top of the league come Christmas. You have to be in touching distance of it. Touching distance is what, 5 points? 4 points? Even if we're not neck and neck or ahead of City by Christmas, I just got a sneaky suspicion that this Manchester United side can go on and do it. I really do. We're 6 games in now. This is when that they start to publish the league table, because it means jack shit until now. But from 6 games onwards, that's enough of an indicator of here's what this team might be able to do. We've basically dropped points against Stoke, that's it. I fancy this United side to do it. Anyway, before we get off, I've got something I need to tell you about, and that is My Little Nuts. What? You heard? My Little Nuts. Boom. I'm just going to move over here so we can get this on the screen. My Little Nuts is a fantasy app, and the way I can describe it is it's like playing Footy Manager with your mates. I've got a little league here, and it's me and Dave, Adam McCullough, and Paul Rankes that you'll have seen on the Full-Time Devils previews and stuff like that. I played Dave last week and we drew 2-2. I played Paul today, and at one point I think it was 3-0 to Paul because he's got Morata on his side and he scored 3 goals. And how it works is you pick your side, and your side is the real side. So it's not like fantasy football where you get points, you get goals and clean sheets and stuff like that through the actual players that are playing. So last week I got an assist and I got a goal with my team, and I drew 2-2 against Dave's team. And there's a little banter page in there as well to start having a bit of a laugh with each other. Today, I think I've lost pretty heavily to Paul's team, but all the rest of the fixtures from the league this weekend have to be in before we see the results. But it's a good app. It's like I said, it's like Footy Manager in a bit more real life. It's a bit slower. It takes the whole week, obviously, to get it done. The fixtures are just based on those fixtures. It's a little bit of a mix-up on the regular like Premier League style of fantasy football. The link is in the description below. Get it checked out. It's free to play. It's banging. Honestly, you have a good time taking the piss out of your mates. So you literally play against your mates. So like a lot of fantasy football is, you're in this league with 12,000 other people, and it's not really got that sort of competitive edge that you really want. Well, this one, you can just have a small league. We've got a league of 4 people, so it's just going to be over really quick. So you can start this at any point during the season, pick it up wherever, and just start. We're in the Darren Fletcher Invitational. Of course we are, because Dave started the league. So we can just have this little performance. You can have little forfeits and stuff like that between your mates as well, and see how you get on. So check it out. The link is in the description below. As I said, free to play. Go and check it out. You and a couple of mates have a little challenge match. And this is the difference. Normal fantasy football, you're in a league with 12,000 other people that you don't know. Make yourself a little competition where it's just a few of you. Go head to head and see who can pick the best fantasy team. So that's My Little Nuts. Check it out. Links in the description below. And that's that. So thank you guys for watching. The analysis will be out tomorrow. If you're watching this on Saturday night when I'm recording it, the analysis will be out tomorrow, Sunday. Probably just after dinner time, I reckon, because JDino's got a match in the morning, so I'll be going watching that first, and then I'll be doing the analysis afterwards. So make sure you come and check that out. And I've got loads of videos coming out this week, absolutely tons. So keep it locked. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. I'm going for 50k before the end of the year. You guys can make that happen. I really appreciate those of you who do. Nice one. See you in a bit.